What's going on, everyone? This is Ace, and welcome back to The Reckoning, where we talk all things Lady Death and mostly chaos and Coffin comics. But today we are actually going to do something a bit different, or at least something we don't do often, and that is talk about the other comics that exist, superhero comics, and specifically DC comics. I'll simply be going over my thoughts on several of the titles that I am personally excited for, and we'll decide to follow up and dive into a little bit of them. But before we begin, don't forget to give this video a like, hit that subscribe button, click the bell as well so you don't miss out on any of our content covering Lady Death, Evil Ernie, and Chaos and Coffin, and maybe some DC titles in the future. So for now, let's begin. Green Lantern Dark. So honestly, it's gonna be a pretty chill video. I'm just gonna share with all of you everything that I know so far about these titles, some more than others, and we will just kind of go from there. So I think I'll start with the original title that I have been excited for like pretty much all year long. I mean, so what I mean by that is before all of this like DC all-in announcement that Joshua Williams and Scott Snyder addressed, I think around the summertime, I actually knew of a title called Green Lantern Dark. This was, I think I heard about this maybe a little while back, probably back in February, which from the premise, I couldn't help but be excited. I mean, so what I had originally read for this premise of this Green Lantern story was the following. DC Comics describes the new story as a chilling tale of desperation, hope, and resurrection from the tattered remnants of DC's fan favorite Tangent Universe. Now, if I could just cut in there, I am not too familiar with the Tangent Universe, but I know it's been around, I think, since the late 90s maybe, and I think there is a Green Lantern comic from this universe that is where our main character gets her first appearance. Now, I have not read it yet, but you best believe I have ordered my copy so I can get a better understanding of who we are following within this story. Oh, and I should also say that technically this is considered part of DC's Elseworlds stories and not necessarily part of the All-In initiative, but is happening around the same time, I believe. So regardless, I'm still hyped for it. The story is set on a post-apocalyptic Earth that has been overrun by monsters. Green Lantern Dark shows darkness reigning supreme and humanity struggles to survive in a new corrupted wasteland. Okay, so now that sounds badass. Like, come on, you know me. My two favorite worlds and stories are Lady Death and Berserk, and I'm imagining in this Green Lantern universe a Mad Max, Fist of the North Star world, and humanity is desperate. We are getting to levels of hopelessness and barbaric nature. But then it sounds like the world is overrun by monsters. Now, this to me, I'm thinking grandiose, gory fight scenes, real peril and fear, and just horror for whatever grotesque monsters that our main characters will have to fight. But let's keep going with the description. The series stars a new character donning the Green Lantern mantle, and she is the last remaining hero on Earth. After not being seen for years, she returns to the forefront wielding the mystical green flame to return light to the darkness that Earth has become. The new series will run for 7 issues, released every other month. Green Lantern Dark #1 will go on sale October 23rd, and I personally am sold. Are you kidding me? This is like dark fantasy, and I don't keep up with Green Lantern, but I am considering it in the future at some point, and I'm looking at you, Jessica Cruz. But anyways, for now, this is a brand new Green Lantern, so it's actually perfect and easy for new readers, and the concept of a mystical green flame that will return light to the dark, so there is more magic and sorcery involved that I'm definitely here for. Now, they also said that after not being seen for years, she has returned, so this makes me think that right away that maybe the character has something she is ashamed of or perhaps fearful of from her past. Like maybe she failed at one point, which could explain why the world is so messed up like it is now. Or maybe she was present at the time of the breaking point and failed, and this would be her story to finally step up and do what needs to be done. Or maybe she obtained the responsibility of the lantern after a loved one who originally had it was killed. I just don't know. But after hearing this, I was too excited for it, you guys. Now, it was quiet after, this original premise that I heard back in February for at least several months, but then some more information came my way over the summer, and for starters, it confirmed our thoughts on the Green Lantern was indeed from the Tangent Universe. The article I found had read this: DC's Elseworlds line relaunched earlier this year to great fanfare, providing a wide range of unique stories outside of the main universe's continuity. On Tuesday, DC unveiled the first look at the latest Elseworlds entry, Green Lantern Dark, ahead of the first issue's debut Wednesday, October 23rd. From the writer Tate Brombell and artist Werther Dell'Edera, Green Lantern Dark will follow the Green Lantern of the Tangent Universe, a mysterious heroine who first made her debut in 1997. Okay, so I was correct when it came to that late 90s thing. So now you will see that we also have our writer and artist mentioned, and admittedly I am not familiar with Tate's work, as I have heard about House of Slaughter, but I have not read any of it. And as far as Werther's artwork, I did look up some of his stuff, and it has a very motion rapid style to it that makes sense. I mean, he seems to capture movement excellently, and I guess what I would say is that his artwork does have a energy, no doubt, to it, but it really wasn't my favorite look, or at least perhaps not what I had in mind. But anyways, let's keep going with the article. Tate says, Werther and I were reimagining what a Green Lantern can be and do with this comic book, and we are so proud to introduce the world of Rina Mori. Ah, so our character has a name, Rina Mori. Okay. Now, Brombell said in a statement, she's tired. She's grumpy. The last thing she wants to do is save the world, but she'll have to get up and out of bed and do it anyhow. I promise you won't want to miss it.
Man, what the fuck is you talking about?
What the fuck was that?
I'm sorry, man.
Okay, so all jokes aside, I don't know how to register what Brombell's just said. Like, everything up to this point, I was getting a vibe, and a really good one. This could really be shaping up to be a dark, epic tale, but I'm not understanding this take. She's grumpy? like, what do you mean? There are people dying and being attacked by monsters, I'm assuming. So in a hopeless world, and she has to get out of bed. I don't know, man. This tone makes me think like bratty teenager who doesn't feel like listening to mom and dad, or like, you know, to like take out the trash or something. Like, I don't know, or like maybe don't want to get up to go to school this morning.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
But not in this like dystopian future. What post-apocalyptic future kind of? I mean, I don't know. Maybe, you know, I haven't read it yet, but it just really seems kind of off. You know, I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on that? I mean, again, I'm not too familiar with Brombell, and so I'm not going to judge or take this as a death to the hype or anything, but it does have me raise an eyebrow of what exactly the kind of story we might be dealing with here. So anyways, let's continue with the article though. What is Green Lantern Dark about? In Green Lantern Dark, on a post-apocalyptic Earth overrun by monsters, the battle between good and evil ended long ago, and evil won. Now, darkness prevails as humanity struggles to survive in the corrupted wasteland that remains. Only one hero is said to haunt what's left of our shadowed cities, the one who wields the mystical green flame that could return light to a shadowy world. The Green Lantern. But she's been missing for years, and on this isolated island of New England, Solomon Grundy's undead army only grows larger and more powerful every night. Okay, so I will say I'm happy about most of what I'm hearing here. Again, it was repeated that we know about the mystical green flame, and they mentioned what's left of our shadowed cities. So yeah, it sounds like society and like the cities as we know them today are in ruins, destroyed. And finally, the new information I'm just so on, as they mentioned Solomon Grundy, which I know little about besides being a Batman character, and he has an undead army. I mean, I love me some zombies, and if you guys don't know, evil ernie por vida. I mean, let Megadeth begin, you know, we're here for it. But I'm not sure if this undead army are the monsters they were referring to, or if that is separate. So anyways, Werther echoed, Tate and I are very excited to introduce you to the most rotten, grumpy, and adorable Green Lantern since Guy Gardner. Welcome to DC's Elseworlds Green Lantern Dark. They said it again.
I used to say it all the time. You couldn't stop me saying this word.
Grumpy.
The fuck does
Grumpy
mean?
What is going on? I mean, I guess, man. Whatever. I mean, we will just have to wait and see, and I'm hoping that Brombell is just on one or having some fun. I don't know, honestly, because with the name Green Lantern Dark, the setting and the premise of the story that I'm hearing so far, they seem to be describing the character like the Grinch Who Stole Christmas, and I just don't know if making it out to be that is the right way to go. So unless I pick this thing up and it truly is nada like I was predicting, and I mean that's fine because somebody will enjoy it, but I will admit that will be my biggest comic letdown of 2024. And please, I don't need another one. Okay, like I saw Crow 2024 and damn, that was horrific. But no, all jokes aside and grumpy wording aside, I'm remaining hopeful. There are some pages of art displayed online with coloring, and yeah, I would say it's still not my favorite type of art, but oh man, besides the energy that I was talking about earlier, there is a horror element definitely within these pages that I absolutely love. So thank you, and I truly hope this story will be everything that I'm hoping for. Okay, so up next we have Absolute Batman. Okay, so now we are finally getting into Absolute or All-In DC Initiative, and this one here is pretty short. I am picking it up because, well, it's Batman, all right? I'm sorry, guys, that's pretty much the reason. I mean, Batman is probably the hero that I am most familiar with and have read comics in the past, such as The Dark Knight Returns, Hush, The Long Halloween, and I'm a huge fan of the Batman animated series, and of course, Batman 89, hands down, is my favorite Batman film of all time. Not to mention Jack Nicholson is my favorite live-action Joker, and maybe that will be a video for another day. But anyways, I say all this because I have an established idea of what and who Batman is, just like I'm sure many of you do as well. And what I'm excited for is to have all of that previous knowledge turned upside down and inside out. Scott Snyder is writing the book, and while I have admittedly not dived into his work yet, he seems to come from a place that here at The Reckoning we are all about. Just kick-ass, fun, badassery, excitement, and from what I hear is able to serve up some great storytelling along with it. For those that don't know, he was the creator of The Batman Who Laughs, Dark Knight's Death Metal, and Dark Knight's Metal. And of course, the Batman book that almost every comic book YouTuber I follow and watch has on their top Batman stories, The Court of Owls. So with that resume, how can I not be hyped to see what he is going to be planning? I mean, I know very little about the story except that Batman is not wealthy, and I don't believe that this Batman has an Alfred or Robin, and we are calling it Absolute Batman for a reason, because this man is an absolute unit. I mean, damn. I'm hoping the story will be badass, and I think as of now, the first printing is already selling out, so sounds like a lot of people are ready for this title. Absolute Wonder Woman. Now, finally, the absolute title that I am secondly most hyped for, and admittedly, the more I hear about, it is slowly becoming my most anticipated DC title. Now, as far as my experience with Wonder Woman, I have not given the character too much thought in the past. I've not seen either of the films, and when I was a kid, she would team up with my boy El Dorado on the cartoon show, and I've seen her as a member of the Justice League for sure, but up to this point I couldn't define Diana, in all honesty, because I haven't had the chance to know her like I do Hope, Sakara, Cassie, and Nicole. I have read Liam Sharp's Brave and Bold, which I enjoyed, as pretty much love gazing at Liam Sharp's artwork, and the same thing with Daniel Warren Johnson's Dead Earth, which was also exactly the kind of story that I can get into. Now, if there is anything to be said about these stories, is that one deals with a setting that is dark and brutal, and the other heavy in mythology, and while not the best story, still was enough to capture my imagination. And I truly believe that this upcoming Wonder Woman title can offer this as well. Now, the book is being written by Kelly Thompson, and again, admittedly, I have no experience at all with any of her previous work, but I did watch several interviews, and I can say that she sounds enthusiastic about the project and really wanting to do something refreshing. And it's from these interviews that I got some more insight in that Wonder Woman will be somewhat of a magic user, and this plays a part in how she carries around her giant berserk sword. And speaking of that, can we just really kind of just take a moment to appreciate this Wonder Woman design? I mean, talk about going after what I love. Powerful, badass character with a little homage to Guts with the sword, and get this, apparently this Wonder Woman was raised in hell and has to do battle with monstrosities and the such. So that sounds exactly the kind of thing we are down with here at The Reckoning. So I don't know, you guys, this has me just super hyped, and I really hope it delivers. And one thing I should also just kind of add into is when I was watching one of the interviews with Kelly Thompson, she does bring up the book Wonder Woman Historia, the Amazon Amazons, she definitely makes it clear that it's not necessarily like based off of that, or like it's not how should I say, like a continuation of that really, but maybe it was kind of like an influence, or at least kind of like a inspiration perhaps for what they were working on with this Absolute Wonder Woman title, and only in the sense because this Wonder Woman, if you notice, has some tattoos, kind of like a sleeve going on one of her shoulders and arms, and apparently people were noticing that the tattoos were a symbol of one of the deities or goddesses named Hecate, I believe, and that deity or that goddess does show up in Wonder Woman Historia book. And I will admit, I did pick that book up and I actually really enjoyed it. It was a pretty cool story, kind of like a origin story of the Amazons and how they started, and honestly I thought it was well done. Artwork was pretty fantastic, if I have to admit that. And then with the tattoos marking the symbol of Hecate, and Wonder Woman apparently, you know, either fighting in hell or maybe even possibly being raised in hell. Yeah, she sounds like she's gonna have a bit of an underworld connection. And I mean, guys, come on, you know me. What do we talk about here on this channel? This is about Lady Death, all right? So I mean, if there's anything about fighting in the underworld or fighting in hell, I think we know a thing or two about it. So yeah, count me in for this story. Already sounds pretty awesome. And oh, and one other last thing is she likes to ride this skeleton Pegasus into battle. Like, hell yes, I'm getting Visago vibes, battling in hell. Let's go. So yeah, guys, definitely easily becoming one of my most sought after titles, and I've already got my pre-orders in. But you guys, those three are the titles that I wanted to bring up and share with all of you, as they will be releasing here in the following weeks of October. And I want to know your thoughts and which titles you're picking up, or are the ones that you're interested in. Are you interested in other titles that possibly aren't coming out until later? Have you been reading any of these characters consistently for a while now? Let me know down below, as I always love chatting it up with you guys. And honestly, I can't thank you enough for supporting the channel, and stay tuned as I am working on several Lady Death, Purgatory, and Evil Ernie content coming your way. But I think that's gonna do it for me, you guys. And again, thank you so much. Stay sworn, and until next time, take care.